Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Chicago. And our question tonight comes to us from Afterfove, who asked me to speak to the subject of zombies. Now, some years ago, in the early days of MagickTV, I had done an interactive grimoire on the subject of zombies, which talked about zombies in the context of Haitian voodoo, which is their metaphysical provenance. And I got a number of people complaining in subsequent years that it had not really dealt with brain-eating zombies from outer space. So, allow me to begin by saying that brain-eating zombies from outer space are a perfectly valid part of science fiction and fantasy literature and movies, but they have nothing to do with metaphysics. Whereas Haitian zombies actually are part of metaphysics, and I assume that this is what I'm being asked about. Now, zombies are part of Haitian voodoo. They are not found in African Vodun, they're also not found in New Orleans voodoo. They are indigenous to Haitian voodoo specifically, which would suggest that they developed there probably in the 19th century. And a zombie in Haitian voodoo is what happens when a bokor, or a black magician, uses black magic to raise a corpse and make it into a soulless slave. And these soulless slaves would labor in the cane fields, or in the mills, or even in the bokor's home, and would ask for nothing because they really had no intelligence, no mind left. They were merely animated corpses. And it's important to say at this juncture that a bokor, or a black magician, is totally separate from the voodoo priesthood, who would not have approved of this practice, and in fact did not approve of this practice. Now, what is interesting about the zombie is that for many, many years, despite many eyewitness accounts, it was absolutely dismissed as mythology. And when I was young, in fact, this was still the case, and people really did not believe there was any possibility that this could be true. And the reason they dismissed this is rather obvious, because clearly there were not animated corpses running around Haiti. However, in the 60s and 70s, documentation began to increase, and there were even zombies caught on film, and there's some very interesting interviews with zombies from this period, which show what was actually going on. And we know now that what the bokor would actually do is they would poison their intended victim, causing them to appear to have died. And then they would dig them up afterwards and bring them back to consciousness and convince them that they actually were dead and had become zombies. And they would fulfill the role, possibly because they really believed that they were dead and could no longer exercise free will, more likely because of the brain damage caused by the poison. And the interviews with zombies that I mentioned showed people who were in fact profoundly brain damaged. Now, there's a very interesting book and movie called The Serpent and the Rainbow, which details the search for the poison that was used to induce this state. And the author of the book is of the opinion that the poison is what is called tetrodotoxin, which is the poison of the pufferfish, although there are those who disagree with this. And I don't believe that it has been definitively established what is used, but it is pretty much agreed upon that this is what is done. And as far as I know, it is still a living practice among black magicians in Haiti, though again it would not be approved of by the priesthood of the voodoo religion. So I hope that answers your question, and until next time, may you blessed be.